Welcome back to HB Unfiltered Sports Talk. I'm joined by the Stiff Brownie, the Weasel, the Intern, and the Dirtbag. Right here. Alright, we're talking NFL Draft. I'm excited. It's like Christmas, 2 days away. We're getting there. The trade finally happened.
Yes, it did.
Weasel, do you know what trade just went down?
Rodgers to the Jets.
That's right.
And the Jets are going to rue the day they made that deal.
Just like they did for Favre. It's a history repeating itself.
Yep.
So-
I'd be surprised if it's 2 years.
He says he doesn't want to brag, but he's calling the Super Bowl.
He's taking a lot of ayahuasca.
Oh,
He's got a lot of talent on that team, and if that defense can do what they're supposed to do,
they do.
it's the best defense he's ever had by
They-
far.
Yeah, they do, and they still have the draft. They only swapped back to 16. They're still going to get. I still think they get their tackle or Osiris Torrance, the guard, or Broderick Jones.
I think what they need to get is like Kincaid
That-
from Utah.
That's exactly what I was talking about with my buddy the other day. I would love to see them get either Kincaid or Mayer.
You got the receivers. Get Kincaid.
Get a tight end for Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah. You got Hall coming back from injury. That offense
They've got
will be
Wilson,
loaded
they've got
if
Lazard,
you give
they got-
Oh, Lazard and Wilson.
Yeah.
you give
Yeah.
Rodgers.
If you think about it, he hasn't
comfort
had.
tight end.
He
What-
ha-
Go ahead.
He hasn't had a defense his entire career. People fail to realize that the last time Green Bay Packers had a legit defense, it was Reggie White, and that was during Favre's era, not Aaron Rodgers' era.
Right.
So he hasn't had. He's had to put up more than 30 points a game to win games. Can you imagine how easy it's going to be for him to do 3 touchdowns, no picks, and win 21-10?
Yeah, and they get Brees Hall back.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we
I
also
think it's a
talked
great
about
move.
what about maybe taking Bajan Robinson too?
They could. I don't know.
Two awesome young backs.
I don't think he'll be there, but I'm very interested to see what Green Bay Packers do because they have the ability to probably get the top wide receiver in the draft, the kid from Ohio State. And it would be really interesting to see that after all these years and
I know
all
where
the
you're going with
turmoil,
this.
the irony is they
Yes.
finally pick a
Yes.
number one
Just
receiver.
stick it to Rodgers
Yeah.
and get out the back door. Yeah,
That
now
would be pretty
we're
interesting.
picking a receiver.
I love it. I hope it happens. That would be just
I like
kinda
it.
them needling. And
Green
also,
Bay should take Michael Meyer, tight end from Notre Dame, and
Yeah.
give Jordan Love a safety valve, and then draft like a speedy receiver like Hyatt or Downs from North Carolina in the second round.
Dude, they are so. This draft is loaded with good tight ends. I even
Oh
like
yeah, definitely.
Luke Musgrove
Yeah.
or Musgrave.
Oregon State, love that guy.
That guy's awesome, and I love the guy out of Iowa, Sam Laporta.
Yep. Then
Iowa
you got the
always
guy
has a
from
great-
Yeah.
South Dakota State that's going to be under the radar guy.
Yeah,
Loaded
so
tight end
there's-
class.
Yeah, there's plenty of good tight
Darnell
ends. but
Washington.
all
Georgia.
five will go within the first 2 rounds, though. Correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Possibly. There's so many people might just wait till the second round
All right. Okay.
to load up.
All right. So let's go back over. I mean, the Stiff Brownie and I talked about our first 13 draft picks.
Do you still like him?
Yeah. I'm kind of.
Because
I
I
really-
know Richardson is wearing on you. We keep talking about it. So
I know Richardson. Well, I don't think the guy should even be a first rounder. I know his
agree.
talent's off the charts, but I would turn him into an edge rusher. As a
Yeah.
quarterback, if you're 53% completion at the college level on a team with 4 and 5 stars all over the place, how the hell are you going to hit that smaller window in the NFL?
and the game is so much faster at the NFL than it is at college.
Yeah, and it's not that he's not fast; it's just he's not ready. Like the Weasel actually said a couple episodes ago that Anthony Richardson, if he got behind with the right coach, like maybe a Pete Carroll, and sat behind Geno Smith for 2 years. That's why I had Seattle take him in the 5th slot. But I think Seattle's smarter than that and not going to waste a top 5 pick on a guy who doesn't play for 2 years. So that's
Well,
the
and
one that I
wh-
kind of want to change.
And where is that team going to be in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I don't
Metcalf could be gone. There could be a lot of change.
How long's Pete Carroll been with Seattle? Case, do you know?
13 years.
13 years since being away from SC.
Yeah,
That is
crazy.
that just shows
That's
you
longer
how,
than he was at SC, right? Because he was only there 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 years with us.
Time flies. Time flies.
He's 80, 70.
No, he's not 80 yet.
I
He's
think
getting
he's
close.
102.
He's getting close.
Yeah.
He's getting close.
I'll tell you what, he looks good for 102.
Yeah, he is.
Still chewing that gum.
All right, so let's go back. We'll start at the very top on this draft thing. I'm still sticking with Bryce Young. Who do you got, Weasel? Going number one. What are the Panthers going to do?
Panthers are probably going to take Bryce Young, but I wouldn't do it. He's a midget.
I think he's bigger
He's
than
too
you
small.
think.
So
He's
last
too
week when we
small.
spoke about this on our podcast, we had odds on gambling odds
Right.
on where they were going to go. There's information that came out that the Carolina Panthers are going to take Will Levis.
I hope so.
Wow.
Okay,
I hope
this,
so.
this was an
Wow,
this
that-
was an anonymous source. It came out
Wow.
yesterday, and the odds fluctuated like within 6 hours. Like it was crazy how things
He's
had
4 to
changed.
1 now.
Go-
So you can actually get Bryce Young at a massive value to go number one
Well,
overall.
no. If it changed that much, that tells me there's inside information.
Well, it was an
What's Will
anonymous
Levis?
source.
Is he 4 to 1?
I don't know
He's
what he
4
is
to
now. I
1
can
now.
look.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's shocking because I had the Colts. I had the Colts taking it at 4.
I got him at 15 to 1 because he's the logical pick of the 4 guys that they're talking about quarterbacks.
Could you imagine how
Why do
happy?
you end up at Kentucky then?
Not too sure, but he had a great 2021 year when everyone was healthy, and he had Robinson as a receiver. Got injured last year, offensive line. He's
Well-
everything you want in a quarterback. Just get the right guy or right quarterback coach and offensive philosophy around him. I think he'll be the best out of the 4.
Okay.
You know how happy I'd be if I was the Indianapolis Colts right now. I don't have to trade. I don't have to move. I'm going to get one of 3 of the good
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
you're getting Young, Stroud, or Levis.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Richardson if you
Well,
wanted.
I wouldn't want that, but
No, I
mean,
don't
there's
think
no
they're-
reason for me to move anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? People are saying if he's there, Colts are going to take Levis. They
Yeah.
like him more.
Okay, now, with the number one picks that we keep talking about and how important it is to get a franchise quarterback, let's swing it over to the intern and talk about some number one picks in recent years or past years. What do you got for us?
So here are some notable first picks from the NFL draft. In 1983, John Elway was the first pick by the Baltimore Colts.
Nice. The Baltimore Colts. He obviously said he wouldn't play for them. He ended up holding out and went to the Yankees for a little bit until he got traded to Denver. But who did? We were talking about this class earlier on the break. Dan Marino should have went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who did they end up taking in 1983 and passed on Dan Marino and let him go to the Dolphins? Because that 83 draft was absolutely loaded.
Oh, yeah. You had Ken O'Brien of the Jets. Just outstanding.
Ken
One of
O'Brien.
the best Jets quarterbacks since Namath.
Jets whiffed on Dan. Pittsburgh whiffed on Dan. Everybody whiffed on Dan.
Wow, could you imagine Pittsburgh Steelers with Dan Marino?
Right? Right in their home backyard. He went to
What?
Pennsylvania Catholic High School. Then he goes to Pitt.
Wasn't it the... didn't Jim Kelly come out of that?
Jim Kelly came out of Pennsylvania.
No, I mean 83.
He did. But he went to the
Was
Houston Gamblers.
Was Montana?
Oh,
part of
that's
that?
right.
He decided that he went like this: Houston, Buffalo, Houston, Buffalo.
When,
But what's funny is
when actually they're
he
the
cried.
same.
He actually cried when he was picked by Buffalo, and he was in tears of happiness. He was actually totally bummed that the Buffalo Bills selected him. And then he goes there, plays for years, and now he loves it. He still lives in Orchard Park
Yeah,
today.
yeah. It's interesting.
Did
A lot
we
of those
did we get
Bills
that?
do.
Did we get that pick on who the Steelers got in '83?
Not yet.
All right, we'll come back to that. So, okay, so first pick. Now let's get back to this Texans thing. They have the second pick and the 12th pick. They got to go quarterback, right? Can they really chance taking Tyree Wilson or a Will Anderson, and then wait and hope that they get the quarterback that they want at 12?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. If I like
You know, my-
C.J. Stroud, you better take him now. You're not getting him at 12.
Exactly. And my nightmare would be getting Richardson. Having to end up taking Richardson.
Yeah.
I don't like the pick. I don't care if he's a crazy good athlete. His statistics speak for themselves.
Yeah,
If you
it doesn't-
can't do it at the D1 level, then you're not going to do it at the pro level.
This is what cracks me up. Don't take the combine as that's the tell-all stuff. You have to look at game film and how they play every day.
Yep. Yeah.
If you can't throw, they're pointless. All right, so we agree. The Texans should take a quarterback with the second, and then take whatever the best available at 12.
Yep.
I think they'll take Tyree Wilson though.
If they take Tyree Wilson and then they trade from 12 up to like 8, 9, 7 to get a quarterback of their choosing and give away future draft picks, that GM should be fired.
Yep.
They might just wait for Caleb for next year or Drake May next year.
Well, now you're talking. Now you don't even take a quarterback. You just go with Davis Mills one more year, and then you take Caleb.
They came from the 49ers. They just their two head coach, offensive coordinator came from the 49ers. They're doing just good with Purdy.
Now-
Build up the team and then plug in the quarterback with the system that it's a Shanahan system. Plug in the quarterback that's accurate and just manage.
That's a massive gamble, though. Think about that, because you have at least 3 teams that I know about that are going to be absolutely awful next year. Rams being one of them.
Oh, let's hope so.
Oh yeah, the Rams are going to be bad, and Stafford's going to get hurt. Darnold's on pace to retire soon, so not sure if that's even going to work. Man, I'm totally lost with this Jalen Carter and where he's going.
I don't know.
Is he falling far?
I would say his limit would be Seahawks need defensive line help in the middle. They could take him if they don't take Richardson to back up Geno Smith for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. But the Lions would love him to fall to them and go with Hutchinson. That defense would be right there, playoff wise.
I don't know why. I don't know why Seattle wouldn't take a chance in the second round on the Tennessee quarterback.
I think
He's got a
Hendon
rehab,
Hooker's
he's-
going in the first, man. A lot
really
have the Vikings taking him, but man, there's even teams talking
Now that
about.
kid can throw the ball,
Yeah.
and he's an athlete, and
Yeah.
he can actually read defenses.
Well, he will be out the whole year. He'll
Yeah.
have to sit a year because
Sure.
that ACL happened late in the season.
yeah.
Two teams that
I know
I could
somebody that
definitely
just
take it.
recovered from an ACL.
two teams I definitely see taking them are Tennessee with Tannehill 1 year and Minnesota Cousins 1 year.
Yeah, Willis is awful.
Willis is done.
What's the difference between Willis and Richardson? If you literally had just plain uniforms on the two of them, they're the exact same shitty quarterback.
Well, God, just watch Willis, Malik Richardson.
Yeah.
just watch that guy's
quarterback.
tape playing quarterback for Tennessee. He is awful. I can't believe I was actually wanting the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft him.
But
I like Pickett. You guys got a good
Yeah,
deal with that.
Pickett's good.
Ten-
Well, they
Tennessee,
already
Minnesota.
shit the bed on Dan Marino from Pittsburgh. They had to take Pickett.
Tennessee, Minnesota are the teams I'm looking at for Hooker. They got 2 quarterbacks on their way
Yeah.
out. Instead of year, rehab, and then you're loaded
Hooker
with
does
talent.
throw a good ball.
All right, so anything else you change in the top 13 that we were talking about?
The other guy that might be slipping a little bit, I think, is Paris Johnson. I'm not sure why, but he might fall out of the top 10.
Who has the 9th pick right now? That's where you have it.
Bears.
Ninth pick is the Bears. But they want Skoronski. So, but he might go to the Raiders from, obviously that's where I have him slated going to
Sure.
the Raiders. But
Sure.
but we'll see. And then, did we ever find out on the Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Okay, who did Pittsburgh draft in the '83 draft? Real
So
quick.
the Steelers passed on Dan Marino instead for defensive tackle Gabe Rivera.
Uh, Dave Rivera. Cal? From California? Does it say?
Geraldo?
Gabe Rivera.
Gabe
Geraldo?
Rivera. I'm pretty
Geraldo
sure it's
Rivera?
California, University of California.
A big nose tackle.
He-
I remember
He
him.
stinks.
A big nose tackle.
He
He was
obviously
all right,
stinks.
but he wasn't
You'd rather
on
have
camera right
Geraldo
now.
Rivera?
He's obviously done. All right, on that note.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, I was so off. All right, on that note, I'm going to go. We'll be back.